Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new or just clicked on this video, thank you very much. My name is Alexis and this is the Goddess of Daydreams Tarot. Today, we're going to be doing a reading in the Aquarius New Moon Solar Eclipse. We're going to be taking a look at the energies that this solar eclipse is bringing to the collective, energies that we need to be aware of, to be open for and cautious of during this eclipse season. The time that I'm doing this, we're in the middle of February. Um, Already a lot has happened and a lot of stuff is going to happen. So let's just ground ourselves. Let us take deep breaths and let's see what energies that we can utilize and use for ourselves to get through these times. So I'm going to be starting off with a couple of oracles to pick up the overall energy coming in. And then we are going to go further in with the tarot. I feel like doing one more today. Let's see. What else, Spirit? What else you got for the collective? All right. Yeah, I kind of feel where some type of intense energy was coming in. First card I have is thirst, craving, compulsion, obsession. Card 21. The number could resonate with you. You could be 21. And then we have the call of the night. Card 16. Daring, adventure, excitement. This feels a very heavily subconscious energy trying to break out of the collective. Now, this thirst energy and this call of the night, even though it feels sort of timid, there is something really primal and just waiting to burst out the lungs. For maybe a lot of us in the collective, we are just, you know what, this is kind of giving me werewolf energy, like just no longer holding in and just becoming a beast. Now, this could be, Spirit, how can I talk about this without sounding crazy? Even though this already sounds crazy. But it just feels that for the majority of the collective, it's like with this eclipse, it seems a lot of us are gonna like just become werewolves. Maybe not physically, I hope not. If those of you that are praying to be a werewolf, I don't think this is a good time to be a werewolf. But definitely wanting to let out of this primal anger energy, whatever it is. And you know what? I'm going to pull an extra card to kind of pick up a little bit more on this. But it's definitely a release that needs to happen, because if not, it's definitely going to consume you or everyone in the collective. But it's like, how are we going to release this in a healthy way? Okay, what do we have here? Come on. Okay. All right, we have She Who Instigates, Regina, leadership, provocation, power. This, okay, I'm not gonna lie. This energy feels like a heavy collective retaliation. Like this feels like enough is enough. I don't want to hold back anymore. All of, yeah, this just, it's just an energy of not wanting to hold back anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna like disagree. Like I feel like at a point of humanity, considering we're still in Aquarius season, like collectively we are just kind of getting sick of holding back and being restrained, because we want to keep the peace, we don't want to mess anything up. But there is something eternal that is going off, that is like, all of this is happening is wrong. We have to go against this like regime or whatever we're dealing with. Because I'm looking at the she who instigates. This definitely feels like um a lot of energy that the collective has been dealing with. Just someone is that uses their power and their position for all of the wrong reasons. Hold on, give me 1 second. Spirit is giving me another message through this. So the main energies that I'm getting right now for the collective is, as much as you want to release and let loose, be careful. If anything, don't fully like release, because if anything, you will become this energy. You will become what you hate. You will become what you're trying to take down. You will become your enemy or the enemy's energies. You will become part of the dark collective. But it's like it's a fine balance. It's a thin line of retaliation, but then becoming, oh, how can I put this? It's like a thin line of retaliating and then practicing what the enemy does. I feel like, okay, there we go, Spirit. This feels like wanting to give the enemy a taste of their own medicine, but what's going to end up doing is you're going to end up getting contaminated with that. Like what you think is like giving them a taste of their own poison, you too become poison. So it's a very fine line of, I know you want to dish out to to your enemies what they can't handle, but you yourself don't want to be corrupted into this. Okay, thank you, Spirit, because I was kind of getting like weird back and forth going on here. But the overall energy as a collective that we need to focus on is being counteractive, but not engaging in the same thing that the enemy does. Maybe for some of you, you have debated about dabbling into certain magic that you know it's not going to be in your flow or it's nowhere in your realm, but you feel like you want to do something to attack the enemy, but you have to stay in your light and you have to stay in your power and not go dabble into things that you think is going to regulate your enemy. Think about it. The enemy already works with certain dark practices and dark magic. If you keep sending them or you send them dark magic or attacks to them, that's only going to make them stronger. It's going to make their demons laugh. And that is not going to help us, the collective. So we have to be careful how we are projecting and how we're going to counterattack towards these dark collectives, because you don't want to give fuel to the enemy. Now, let's go into more detail with some Panther. As much as you want to give them a taste of their own medicine, Spirit is saying don't. If anything, that's kind of what they want us to do, or that's what they expect us to do. Like it's they know that we're at our breaking point, so they expect us to kind of get sloppy and retaliate. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't retaliate. We should retaliate, but we have to be a little more calculative. We have to think 5 steps ahead of the enemy. And we also have to be mindful of certain consequences that we're going to be able to handle. Because in this world, whatever magic that we practice, there is certain consequences, some heavier than others. Yeah, something told me right now as I was shuffling, don't go against your magic. You have a specific magic for a reason, and you must work with it. If you try to ignore it and go do things because you just want the enemy to feel what you want to feel, then your enemy continues to win. And Spirit is saying, don't allow your enemy to continue to win over, to what's the word I'm looking for? Don't let your enemy continue like one-upping you. Let me get one more, Spirit. No, Spirit, I'm feeling kind of weird. Do I take... No, I'll take this one. Okay. Now, I'm looking at these cards, and I don't know. There is something funny going on here. There is something funny going on here. I feel like I'm a little bit more behind the enemy's territory today for some reason. Like I'm picking up more on the other side rather than the collective. It's like I'm looking at the outcome of what the enemy expects, and they kind of expect us to be or continue to be an emotional wreck or an emotional mess. Now, this is not just only for, take what resonates. It doesn't have to apply what's going on all over the world. This could also be a personal issue, either between family members, between friends, between co-workers. Like I do sense for a lot of you, again, you've been dealing with a person that has just been on your ass for ages. And you're like on the brink of just no more being the diplomat, no more being the nice guy or the nice girl. It's time to switch it up. And, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you don't want to play into the enemy's hands because that is what they're expecting you to do. So there has to be some type of restraint and some type of calculation when it comes to your end when dealing with this enemy. I kind of feel like already the enemy is setting up a trap for the collective and they know how they're going to react. So it is going to be up to you how you're going to either avoid this trap, or if you do fall into the trap, how your outcome is going to be within this trap. So the first card I have is Sweet Dreams. Satisfaction, comfortable, lazy day. Now, the energy I'm picking up from this card specifically is the Dark Collective, your enemies, your oppositions. They feel very confident and at ease that everything that they're doing, they're going to get away with it. I'm letting you know they're not going to get away with it. The universe is busy setting up their karmic punishment in the right ways and in the right timing. However, at this moment, the present moment, the enemy is like pretty much I'm scot-free. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm not going to suffer any consequences. I don't have to take accountability because I know if the collective reacts, they are going to end up falling in the trap that I put for them. And if they don't react, well, they know that they can get it together. Or if I know that they don't react, it's because they don't want to cause issues or they don't want to disturb the peace. Don't get me wrong. Like, it shouldn't be right that other people disturb your peace and your peace, and you cannot disturb their own peace. I understand the disrespect. Like, I should be able to have my get back, especially when the enemy thinks like they're all good and whatever. That's not going to be the case. Spirit is saying, I am concocting something different, but I need you to move accordingly. The universe is letting you know, I'm going to make sure you have your get back. I'm going to make sure I serve the consequences. But I need certain people to be aligned in certain ways so that this energy can be delivered how it needs to be delivered. You don't want to mess up the universe's process. Even though you're like, how long am I going to allow the enemy to continue disrespecting me, to continue to use me, to play in my face, as a lot of us are saying these days? Like, this is a lot of playing in your face, and you're just ready to bite their face off. I'm not going to lie, but we cannot bite their face off, because that also is going to put bad karma on us. And that is what the enemy wants all along. Bad karma. We have to restrain and control ourselves not to receive that bad karma. Excuse me while I take a sip of water. Next I have is goal, purpose, expectation, destination. I feel this is the energy that the universe is trying to focus for the collective to be in. As a collective, we need to focus on how we're going to overcome certain obstacles that don't have to deal with a lot of bloodshed, a lot of tears, a lot of strife. And it can be done, but we're going to have to move accordingly how the universe wants us to move. What that's going to be like is going to be very different for a lot of people. Oh, hold on. Please don't show me that. Sorry, I was just getting a notification. Anyway, some of us, are going to be required to strike back in a certain way. Some of us are going to be told to hold the line. Some of us are going to have to get together and help other people kind of rebalance themselves. And I was kind of speaking a lot on this on like my past 2 or 3 readings about, as a collective, the main focus that we need to be doing is for those that are kind of waking up and getting into their spirituality, to help ground these people and, guide them the best way that we can. Because, a lot of people that are waking up, they're new to this game. They're new to this, chaotic system. And they don't have really the bearings. So us who have been deep in this game a little bit longer, we have to help guide those the new awakeners, I guess you could say, to where they're going to feel comfortable. When we are it's not so much confident in numbers, it's more of the quality of people. The stronger and resilient people are when it comes to their spirituality, their mental and emotional state, then the stronger the outcome it will be to overcome and take over whatever the enemy and the dark collective is doing. And that is what the universe is trying to get us at. Next I have is daydream. Optimism, illusion, delirious. Now this card can go both ways for the regular collective and the dark collective. Now there is a sense of delusion. I'm going to say a little bit more on the dark collective side, where again they feel they are in control and that they are going to get away with whatever that they're doing and not face any type of accountability. But at the same time, nothing in this world is permanent. Things do change. And as these issues and truths are coming into light, there is going to have to be a consequence served to these people. Now, for us as the collective, we cannot get too caught up in our daydreams. Like, yes, we could daydream about, having a better future for ourselves and for the future generations. But we also need to make sure to act on it. Like, think of the plan and then put the plan in action. And then last I have is coach. Advice, obedience, knowledge. I feel for this card, it's actually telling us it is important that we listen to each other. a lot of reasons why we are in this chaos is that we refuse to listen to certain people when red flags were being shown. The alarms were going off. And unfortunately, a chunk of society had ignored that. This kind of reminds me back in 2016-ish, so like 10 years ago, when certain things about, I think it was like the Pizzagate scandals and stuff like that, how a lot of people were putting up the alarm like, hey, there's something going on with kids that seems to be very bad. The government needs to look on this. And instead, people were called schizophrenic or conspiracy theorists, and it was heavily dismissed. Only to see now that it is proof that these things were happening. So with this coach card here, like it's not so much listening to one person. We just need to be more open-minded when someone is saying something crazy. They're saying something crazy for a reason. They had witnessed it, they have the evidence, or they know someone that has dealt with this. So let's not be too dismissive on stories that people are going to bring up, because this also feels like with this energy, more truths are going to come out, and it's definitely going to bring a stronger agitation to the collective. So I do sense retaliation, but the retaliation has to go in a way that is not going to corrupt more people than there already is. Let's get into more detail with the tarot. Okay, let me get 3 more. All right, interesting. There are no major arcanas here as of now. We have pentacles, we have wands, and we have swords. Everybody here except the cups. So I'm going to take the lack of cups, actually kind of good at the moment, because we can't really so much be involved in the emotional bodies. We have to stay present in our minds and in the physical reality. Now, first card with sweet dreams, I have the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so one of the energies that I'm being told with this card combination is just how there has been a lot of stolen wealth for majority of the collective on a personal level and on a collective level. This energy is where majority of us should be right now, self-sustain. Or maybe for a lot of you, you are working on trying to self-sustain. But again, the Dark Collective has done something to, hold on. The Dark Collective has done something to rearrange that wealth and that comfort that you should be having, or you might be having, that they received this. Let me pull an extra card for this. All right, with the 9 of Pentacles, I have the 7 of Wands. Right now, the Dark Collective is trying to hold their position, especially when it comes to their finances, because they know majority of the money that has been stolen or manipulated has gone into energies or to certain projects that did not need to happen. I'm kind of picking up a sense a little bit from the files. A lot of money was invested in, I don't know if some of you have been reading the files, but there has been mention about growing babies and genetically advancing the human race. And that was all done with our money secretly. That, all the excuse me, I was about to curse. I mean, yeah, I do kind of want to curse. But it's like all of the labor and time as a society that we have put in to try to maintain and grow as a society ended up going to people's secret projects. And now that we have found out, it's like, we don't want to continue funding people's secret projects. That doesn't serve us as a collective, as a matter of fact. It only serves the few. I do see kind of with the Seven of Wands that these numbers are going to grow. The Dark Collective is going to be outnumbered. Not so much in numbers in bodies, but numbers as in like spiritual ranking. Like I see a lot of heavy, high spiritual ranking people coming together to kind of tackle this Dark Collective. Maybe for some of you, you are in these high rankings, and that's why you're also being told to kind of chill for a minute, because Spirit is going to let you know when it's the time to strike. Now, next with goal, I have the Two of Wands. So this is kind of, again, me speaking out about, hold on. Let me adjust the lighting. So with the Two of Wands here, it's kind of what I was talking about, how we got to hold the line, hold our positions. So that way with this moon, our intuition, Spirit can guide us to what we need to do and where we need to go and how to proceed with these situations. Because this is something that as as multiple societies across the world, this is something that we have never really dealt with on a global scale. So it is definitely quite jarring and alarming and confusing, and it's it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to try to figure out what to do, and it's important that we listen to our intuition, because our guides, the higher energies, and God and the universe are trying to guide us to where we need to be. I don't see this so much as the Dark Collective trying to block our goals. This is more like taking a step back to make sure that the goal is aligning, or we are aligning to the goal. I'm going to pull an extra card for this. Two of Swords. All right, with the Two of Swords, I have the Queen of Wands. You want to be confident that you know that your effort and your power is not going to go towards either something counterproductive, or it gets used by the Dark Collective. So when you have the vision, when you have the goal in sight, then you'll be able to take action. Or when Spirit allows you to see your goal, or to understand your goal and what you need to do in a part of this attack or this counterattack, you have the confidence of what you need to do. Now, under Daydream, I have the Queen of Coins. Spirit, oh, come on. Why is my camera not focusing? Give me a second. All right. There we go. So the Queen of Coins is very interesting, because this feels like the Queen of Coins actually feels like a spell work that is happening for the collective. or the Dark Collective. So, you know what? Before anything, I'm going to have to pull an extra card. But definitely this Queen of Coins feels like a spell work. Oh, interesting. Now we have some cups now. So with the Queen of Coins, I have the King of Cups. So this feels like a spell work that the Dark Collective has placed within the world, but this is more like I guess it's more like an illusion about stability and access to money or stability, that only they can have it. That stability has to be earned a certain way by doing certain tasks, or unfortunately, in certain cases, what you're willing to sacrifice to obtain this stability, to, to obtain this wealth. But then they will go and make it look like, for us, the collective, like it's easy. All you have to do is A, B, and C. And people do A, B, and C and still not receive the wealth. This is definitely a big illusion spell, what that is actually dissipating right now, because people are understanding that as long as I work hard, nothing really happens. If I continue doing the same cycle, getting up, going to work, paying my taxes, going to bed, and doing the same thing over and over and over, nothing changes for me. But the Dark Collective continues to have that wealth, that stability, the structure. You know, we're funding their structure and their comfortableness. Excuse me. When more people start to realize this energy, it weakens that illusion. And when people start to hold back their coins, then this is when the Dark Collective is going to start feeling it. Because, yeah, with this thirst and the call of the night, they have that craving for that wealth. They need that wealthy lifestyle to maintain certain things about themselves that they have not mastered on their own. They just use wealth to sort of maintain it. And this could be their power. Anyway, let's get to the last card. Under Coach, I have the Four of Wands. I feel very confident with the collective, especially during the eclipse season. We are going to kind of reestablish a foundation of like what is right and what is wrong and what needs to be done to correct the wrong in this world. And the more we start listening to stories and believing people and searching and revealing answers, the stronger our foundation as a collective, as a human society grows and stabilizes. When this foundation is created, then it's going to be the ticket for the divine to bring down what we need to receive to, again, correct these evils. I'm going to pull one more card for the Four of Wands. But yeah, I do see a positive outcome for the collective. And, you know, those of you that are also dealing with your own issues, whether at work or at home, I do see that you are going to come to a foundation or to a solution, or at least like build up a solution to what you are dealing with. Okay. Interesting. So, with the Four of Wands, I have the Five of Wands. So, of course, your opposition or the Dark Collective is going to come in and try to disturb that. You know, they have already made it their mission to destabilize your life, to destabilize your mind, to destabilize your energy. Because when all of that is destabilized, that's when their influence and their illusions come in to come and control you. You know, they definitely have a thirst for control. And the less that they are in control, the less power that they have. So there's definitely going to be there's definitely going to be some type of conflict. So just be in the heads up, like, you know, that foundation is definitely going to be created, but don't fall asleep on the dark collective, because they're scheming and planning to throw you off your game. That's kind of like what I was saying earlier, why it's important for spirit, for us, through spirit, for us to get ourselves grounded and situated. Because if we're busy trying to fight battles that we don't have the emotional discipline or the spiritual structure that is required, then the enemy can easily overcome us and easily influence us back to being asleep or back to following the same cycles or patterns. So it is important that right now, for this eclipse season, that we work on our grounding, that we work on our humane and spiritual connections within ourselves and with one another. And we'll find a way how to overcome the attacks and defeat the enemy. However, it's easier said than done, because people are tired. People are tired of holding back. And I sense a lot of you are in the collective that you are tired of holding back. But you have to be calculative during these times, because if not, you can easily fall into the traps of the enemy, because now they're going to start getting desperate, especially with the Five of Wands. The enemies are getting desperate and they're going to retaliate. But it is up to you how you're going to counterattack. And when you do, you need to be stable. You must be securing your power, securing your energy. Know that you have the necessary backup that is needed. Now, with that said, let's wrap up this reading with some final messages from the club. Let's see what they have to say about this. Okay. Oh, excellent. Exactly two. I have the maze. And then I have the shot. Okay. So the maze, very important that we discuss about this. They're definitely going to be throwing us into some type of loop here. With the maze, I feel like this is the dark collective trying to set up, again, traps and illusions for a lot of us to get confused and lost. It is important that we maintain the connection and the togetherness and stay focused on what needs to be focused. I kind of getting also, like with the maze here, like prioritize what needs to be addressed or needs to be handled and taken care of. Because if you don't, you're going to end up losing yourself in this maze with many others. It's also important that, again, we listen, we speak, and we communicate with each other what we know, what we don't know, what we're finding out. Please, no misinformation. We're kind of dealing with all of that already as it is. We got to focus on the truths, and we got to focus what is in the present and now. When you do that, you and many others will be able to get out of this maze quicker than you think. And then the shot card here. I feel like, okay, how can I say this, Spirit? The shot card feels like an event that's going to happen where Spirit is going to let us know this is the time to attack. This is the time to or counterattack. This is your chance, or this is your sign to take action. Because this shot card, I'm not gonna lie, I'm picking up some pretty dangerous energy here. It's kind of giving like the Thunder card here, but with the shot, it's a little bit more chaotic because this can go anywhere. And spirit is not going to give you this energy unless they see that you are ready, that you are stable, and you have the mental capacity to hold this shot card, or they also have the spiritual discipline to maintain this shot card here, because this is a very, very powerful energy that is like the shot card feels like a catalyst, and you want to use this catalyst to move humanity in the right direction and not into chaos. So a lot of you are definitely going to have a shot at something when you take this shot. However that's going to be, make sure that you use it wisely and in the right time. I feel intuitively and through other intuitive energies, you're going to know when you're going to use this shot. For a lot of you, you already have been possessing this heavy energy for a while. You just not like going to be that careless to use this energy just on anyone. You have to use it in the right time, in the right frame of mindset towards the target that needs to be targeted. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please give it a like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more insight and messages. I would definitely appreciate it, and it will give tremendous support to my channel. And thank you to the new and current viewers and subscribers for coming back to my channel to hear my messages. I hope my readings are giving you the insight and energies and answers that you need. And if you feel that this reading did not resonate, no worries. Feel free to check out the other readings on my channel. There's definitely a message there for you. So my collective, I'm going to be honest, this eclipse season is definitely going to be a wild one. And we're going to have to prepare ourselves energetically and emotionally for what's to come. Because right now, the enemy, either on the personal or on the global scale, feels very, very comfortable that they're going to get away with what they're getting away with. But Spirit is aligning us to the right energies, to the right environments, and the right time to counterattack and start building up our foundation and putting humanity in the right direction. But it's important that you focus on grounding yourself, understanding yourself, understanding the energy that you possess, and helping those who want the help to understand what they can do and what they are. We all signed up to come down here during this time. We each have our own mission to do, and we must follow through or see through it. And definitely for those of you that have this shot card here, your mission is extremely important. And I mean, everyone's mission is important, but there are certain definitely rankings that some of us have to do in order for this catalyst to happen, and so that we can move forward as a collective. And no matter what, I do see us being on top. But we must move according to our missions, to our plans, and to our goals that God and the universe wants us to go through. And with that said, stay safe and have a good day.